Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to the second half of the broadcast. Welcome back to the 2025 Kung Fu Cup monthly November edition, day number 4. It's been a long event so far, 4 days straight of Kung Fu Cup action, with of course some Tuna Cup mixed in between. And now we have the upper bracket finals. It's going to be a ZvT between Reynor and Cure. It's going to be that Zerg versus Terran matchup. Best of 7. We're done with the best of 5s. From here on forward, pure best of 7s ahead of us, and game 1 is going to be on Mothership. Let's go. Let us go. As we are jumping in, we did see Reynor struggle a little bit earlier when it comes to the ZvP matchup, but I believe in ZvT, Reynor, he has some of the best Zerg versus Terran in the world, second only to Serral. Oh boy, and even then they have different strengths and weaknesses. We'll get into it. As spawning in the top right hand corner of Mothership, we have the South Korean Terran player. We have the blue Terran representing Team Liquid. It is a Cure. And spawning in the bottom left, or left side here of Mothership, we have the Italian Zerg player. We have the red Zerg representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. We are jumping into the first game of our best of 7 series. Welcome to Mothership. Mothership is a 3-player spawn map. You can spawn in top left, top right, and bottom side as well. 3 possible spawn locations, and we'll see where Reynor does take us from here. Now we're expecting standard openers, nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. In general, when it comes to the map itself, it is very open, very large as well. It can be very difficult to defend your 3rd, your 4th base, your 5th base. I do favor Zerg coming into a longer and later game in ZvT, and we'll see if Reynor can get there. Also, because the map is so large, this is where mutaplay is accessible. Previously, before the patch and before the map pool, the meta was roach play. The meta was roach openers in towards skipping banelings, going ling roach in towards ultra tech, in towards layer tech, safety infestor into ultras, in towards hive tech, and looking to hit that big power spike with ultras, of course. This is a style that Shin did popularize at DreamHack Dallas a couple of months ago at this point. So Shin did popularize and everyone followed suit. After that, we saw that Reynor was trying out his own style of going pure Ling into Infestor into Ultra, skipping roaches and skipping banelings. So Reynor hit his own greedier style, which Serral did emulate at Myosys of the game. True. Serral did emulate it with mixed success as well, but eventually did fall to Clem. And now in the latest patch, we have suddenly opened up the meta, opened up the builds, the viable play here of Zerg. The reasoning for this, the Baneling Nest. The Baneling was buffed, of course, with extra HP, so now Banelings are more viable, Araxes are weaker, but not just that, a lot of these maps have very open areas, very open 3rd base, 4th base, open area in the center of the map as well, and that also does allow Zerg players to be more active and more aggressive, and it has shifted up the meta quite heavily in ZvT. Have seen that big shift in the meta, so we'll see how Cure will approach this. Oh boy. But now Reaper breaks in. Reynor, he wants his 3rd base, but the SCV is in position. The SCV does block, Reaper does rotate, and Reynor cannot expand. It cannot expand here. Is going to be delayed, so nice pick up here by Cure. Reynor forced to take the triangular 3rd location instead. Forced to expand elsewhere. There's the triangular 3rd. So drone will get away. Drone gets away. There's expansion. So we get a nice start for Cure. Cure, he will delay the base. He will disrupt the initial opener here of Reynor. So far, so good. So far, so good. Cure pokes in, pivots away. And behind this, we do have a 3rd CC. So 3rd CC before Starport. Economic build here by Cure, economic follow-up. Everything's looking as it should. So far, so good. I was going to say standard follow. We are going to be opening up Viking first. Interesting. Floating over the racks as well. Are we going into mech? Is that the play? We haven't really seen much mech so far in ZvT. We have seen traditional mech, that is true. We saw that from Maru. We saw like this mech style going from Hellion into tanks, skipping battle mech, skipping cyclones. The Rax does float back. You can see that KungFu checked here the initial pillar location, did not check the center pillar location. So he failed to snipe the Overlord. But he's floating back. Okay, stim. Okay. So again, we have seen Mecha to Maru, but we're not seeing Mecha to KungFu. He is playing Bio, thankfully. He's playing Bio. As Reynor's knocking down those rocks, building up into his lair first. I say lair first to get a safety Roach Warren. So I did mention earlier that Roach play was very common and very meta for the majority of this year and all of last year as well. And we're getting kind of back into it here for Reynor. I will say that it's still more viable to go into Link main. It's more viable than it was previously, but here Reynor is playing it safe. And again, Roach based play is just a very safe way to play here in ZvT. Oh, nice catch on the Hellions. 2 Hellions go down. We're from here getting into double upgrades. Liberations to the main base. And KungFu doesn't find much. It doesn't find much damage, gonna be forced to pull away. The game will continue. Again, the players do back off. We do see 1-1 upgrades on the way here. Baneliness as well. So remember, it was a Roach opener, and we're not committing into Mass Roach. We're switching into Ling Bane Roach Rapture, and eventually just add a Roaches completely. As I mentioned, this was just an opener just to survive the early game. To build up into Ling Bane, the Hive is already on the way, and the end goal should be Ultras. Like, once again, Ultras are the big power spike here in ZvT. It's kind of like the end goal, the end game. We'll see if Reynor can get there. We'll see if he feels the need to make safety infestors. That's KungFu still harassing. Gets into the mineral line. Breaking in. Gets a couple of active tumors. Nothing major. And overall, it has been a relatively passive kind of game stage. And I do think this favors Reynor's more than anything. Reynor, he's comfortably droning up, saturating. He does have his own hive that's almost done. Like, his hive is almost complete. Ultra Cavern is going to be on the way. And KungFu, he hasn't really been able to achieve too much here. He's denied a little bit of creep. We now have gases being taken. This tells us that KungFu is macroing up into a 4th base, into a longer game. But he's been so passive here. Now we finally have a double drop. Now he's finally applying some pressure. KungFu, he has no, Reynor, he has no Bailings, but he can lock this down, and he will. So far as keeping up with the drops. There it is. There's that Ultra Cavern. As we did mention, this was the end goal from the beginning. This is like the big power spike, the big win condition for Reynor. Is get into the Ultras. And Reynor is almost there. And again, Reynor, he was not forced to make early infestors. He was no, I mean, Reynor, he has made 0 banelings. And what that means is that he's been saving his gas. And that means that he's got Vipers on the way. You know, he's got Adrenal on the way, the upgrades, the Ultras. He's banking up the gas for as many Ultras as possible. Again, Reynor has been cutting corners, and so far he is getting away with it. Yeah, just now morphing in the first banelings of the game. Oh, 8:30. At like 8 minutes 20. The first set of banelings. Spoken. Picks up a couple of tumors. Let's pick up a couple of tumors. At the same time, here comes the main push from Curie. He's been building up this entire game. Remember, he retained the Hellions from the beginning as well, so now they've morphed into Hellbats. How many tanks do we have? 3. So 3 tanks, Mass Marine, couple of Hellbats, couple of Widowmine sprinkled in as well. But again, because Rainor's been so comfortable this game, by the time this hits, there are already Vipers and Ultras. I not the most amount of Ultras, to be fair. For Reynor coming in for the surround. Oh my god. It's coming from behind, locking down the army. Bailings do roll in. Lings, they do buffer. They just lock down the army completely. Yeah, there's no kiting. There's no kiting away from this. Mass surround. Reynor swallows up the army. Now he's just going for the kill. You can see Reynor, he's still at max supply. Cure, he plummets 40. Plummets 40 supply. There's almost nothing left. And Reynor's just rolling in from here. Mine shots don't force any friendly fire. Lings, they peel off into the third base mineral line. They peel off in towards the natural. Oh, so far Curie's holding on. He's holding on. These things have been lackluster. They only get 3 SCVs. Yeah, so much more damage was necessary here. But there we go. He breaks the planetary. Planetary goes down. They crash into the SCVs. And Cure, he has been broken. As I mentioned before, the Lings, they were meant to do a little bit more. Ah, there we go. 19 workers in total. So Curie's still standing. But Reynor, he has 5 more Ultras on the way. And remember, because Reynor's been so greedy and because he's gone away with so much, there's no ghosts, right? There's no ghosts ready for this. There's no Liberators. The anti-Ultra army is a little bit lacking. Sure, there are some Marauders, but it's not ideal. And it's not ideal. There we go. Lings, they do hit the third base. 34 SCVs go down. Finally, the damage that Reynor was looking for. GG gets called, and Reynor takes game number 1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. A very comfortable game here for Reynor. But once again, this kind of exemplifies the style that Reynor went for and the build that Cure decided to go for himself. So Reynor, he was cutting so many corners here on Mothership. He was being greedy. He was staying on a minimal amount of units here, and Cure, on the flip side, was being very passive. He was being very passive, very timid. We did see some drop play eventually, but by the time we had some drop play, like again, Reynor, he was perfectly fine. He was already up to 4, soon to be 5 base saturation. Trying to be this defensive here, it is difficult to make work on Mothership. We spoke about it. The 4th and the 3rd, they're very open. They're very open bases. If we're talking about Winter Madness or White Rabbit or one of these other more turtley and defensive maps, then you can do this because you can turtle up, you can defend, you can max out, and then you can build up into Ghosts without being too concerned and without really losing any of your economy. But here, because the bases are so much more open, if you lose a fight, you will lose more than just your army. You lose an expansion as well. That's what happened. GG. GG, well played. So with that, Reynor, he does take the first game. But again, I would say that Mothership is one of the more extreme maps out there, just because of how large and how open it is. Now we're entering into something a little bit different. We're loading into Taito Citadel. And spawning in the in the bottom right hand corner of Taito Citadel, we have the South Green Terran player. We have the Blue Terran. For Team Liquid, it is Cure. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Red Zerg player. The Red Zerg himself representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Oh boy. And welcome to Taito Citadel. This is another one of those extreme maps. I mean, in general, I have been vocal about this. I do think that this map pool is a little bit too extreme in favor of how open and how spread out the bases are. There are some exceptions to the rule, but they're few and far between. I mentioned it before, like White Rabbit and Winter Madness are probably the best Terran maps in the map pool, but they can be vetoed, of course, and they probably were vetoed. When it comes to macro games, I should emphasize. There are definitely aggressive options when it comes to some of the smaller maps, but here we load into another very large map of the map pool. Welcome to Taito Citadel, and this isn't just a large map, it's an open map and very spread out map as well. So we have our natural, which is relatively secure. Then we have our third base here on the low ground with an open entrance into the third. There's no high ground advantage, by the way, so an open entrance into the third base. And then we have our triangular fourth base, which is actually very far away. Like, the distance between the fourth base and the third is huge. So trying to rotate, reactively rotate and respond to aggression and trying to turtle up on 4 bases is very difficult in this map because how spread out you are and because of how accessible the third is alongside the 4th base and alongside the area in between. Unlike, say, unlike on Tokamak. On Tokamak, it has a similar map layout, but does have a much more secure area in between the bases. On Tokamak, this area here, these rocks, are covered by an extra layer of protection, by an extra layer of elevation. Here, that isn't the case. And also, this is closer to the natural as well, so it's easier to defend. This is further away. So again, the aggressing player, whoever has map control, does have the advantage, a big advantage here on Taito Citadel. Whether it's Zerg in ZvT or Protoss in PvT. Another big factor, the gold base. If Reynor were to, if Kira were to turtle up back at home, then this gold base would be another big factor for Reynor as well to take unimpeded and to snowball out of control with a boosted economy. I guess what I'm getting at is that I hope to see Kira be more aggressive. To be more aggressive, more assertive. I feel like backing off and being more passive and defensive, it'll be a struggle here. As Reaper works in, gets 1, 2, 3 lings. Nice Vigos here by Cure. Gets 3 Zerglings, that's more than what should be happening here. And Cure behind this is getting his own 3rd CC. So economic build here, standard opener out of Cure once again. We'll see where this leads. Reaper goes back in and does not get a drone. Doesn't get the drone. Gets 1, gets 4 Zerglings. Gets 5. 5 lings going down. Can he get 6? Again, nice value here by Curie, forcing out more lings out of Reynor. And Cure finally does fall. Cure finally goes down. And so far, a nice start for Cure. Again, trading well. No economic damage, but forcing out lings is still damage. As these lings should have been drones. Signal's getting a bit out of hand. Oh, okay, you have my attention. Cure, he's going for Hyperflight Rotors, not into Cloak. Now, with this, he should be able to retain his Banshees, build them up over time, and I'm curious to see if we get a second factory. Curious. He's getting the Tech Lab here on the racks. Do we swap? No. Yeah, no swap. So Hellions are trying to be active. We're waiting for a set upgrade. Is going to be once again layer first out of Reynor. This is on the EU server with reduced delay for Cure. No, they're both playing on Korea. They're both in Korea. Both in Korea. As Oguya said, yes, that is correct. Reynor is in Korea. And there it is, double factory mech. So it is going to be mech here. So again, Hyperflight Rotors was a tell that, of course, mech was going to be on the horizon. This traditionally does coincide with battle mech, but again, battle mech is weaker this patch. We have seen a rise of traditional mech going into heli and tank. We'll see how Cure decides to approach this, as it's being quite greedy, opening up double armory as well. A lot of greed here out of Cure. Oh, as Reynor is opting to go for Ling Bane Muta. Okay, let's go. For the first time, we don't see a Roach opener. We do see Ling Bane into a Spire here from Reynor. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. Obviously, when you go into Spire like this, your Evo chambers are late. So late Evo chambers, late upgrades out from the Zerg player, from the Zerg side of things. With this, a lot is going to be heavily reliant on the Mutas, and so far, unscouted. So far, Cure, he has seen nothing. He has not confirmed the natural base. As a result, Cure is going to be in trouble here. Remember what we said earlier, Battle Mech is weaker in this patch. Going into Macfield Accelerators and Cyclones is rarer now. That's why we have Massed Hellion, and we have more Hellion on the way. And tell me, what shoots up? We got Hellions, we got Banshees. That's it. Like, literally 0 units shoot up here for Cure. Here we go, the Hellbat push is coming in. He's committing to Hellbats, okay. Blue Flame is almost done, forcing out Banelings. This will delay Muta production. And this has to get damaged. He has to break the base. So far, gets a handful of drone kills. Don't want to base the base of Banelings. 15 drones going down. Oh my god. Gets 15 drones, and so far he's doing critical damage here. Gets the entire mineral line. And again, Reynor, who's forced to morph in those Banelings. Lings, they go for the counterattack. They will get into the mineral line. SCVs are going down. And we have some vanilla Cyclones on the way. Okay, they're not going to be ideal. I believe he has 2. So 2 Cyclones have popped out. Hellbats are still sharking around, and we have more Hellbats on the way. Curie's not done. Now the question becomes, Reynor, does he defend with the Mutas or does he counterattack? He's going to have to be forced to defend. Yeah, Mutas are revealed. We have Mass Cyclone on the way. Dive on the Hellbats. Banelings crash in. Nice around here on the Cyclones, though. Oh, it takes around that. Yeah, they should be shut down. We'll pick over the Cyclones. And Reynor, he defends. He defends. Now it's time to counterattack. Back at home, turrets are being thrown down as we speak. We have 1 turret for each base, 1 turret for each mineral line. But Cure, he is in danger here. He's in trouble. So far, does zone away. He zones away, but he's stuck at home. And Reynor, he's just recovering. Okay, so again, he did lose an entire mineral line, so Reynor, he's re-droning, he's resaturating, taking more bases, spreading more creep, taking up into the infestation pits, and getting ready for Hive Tech. So Reynor, he's not concerned with trying to press the issue and trying to kill Cure here and now. The problem is, of course, that he was forced to reveal his Mutas defensively. If he wasn't forced to do so, then sure, he could keep going. But he does respect Cure enough to defend. So now we're building up in towards a longer mid-game. Reynor's going to be the first to max out. And we'll see what he can get done. Hey, gets the turret. Turret goes down, SCV as well. Lings, they're coming from behind, going, oh, they don't quite catch the Cyclones, almost. At the same time, there was a distraction. Banelings, they hit the middle line. 14 SCVs go down. A nice run by here by Reynor. Very nice run by. I would say at this point, at this stage of the game, because of the sheer amount of map control that Reynor has, we need to stop Cyclones. At this point, I feel like we have to go into tank production and Thor production as well. I mean, it's a hard call to make. Battle Mech, of course, is more mobile, so you can try to rotate and respond to these armies. But for the most part, Cure's stuck at home. And if we recognize that fact, then we got to just start turtling. Now it's going to be incorporating Widow Mines, and that will help. Three drones. Hive is almost complete. Based on the upgrades here, this can lead straight into Ultras, or we could try to go for a Greater Spire. So Reynor has options. But Reynor's maxed. Reynor's maxed out. Line shot does connect. Just the one though, yeah, just the one. Widow Mine. Ling Bane rolls in and zones away the army. We get some okay mine connections. But again, Ling Bane just keep the army busy, and Mutas, they pop off, they kill the CC. 22 SCV kills. Command center goes down, and this is all that Reynor has to do, just poke in, kill the base, pull away. Doesn't have to commit to a fight. And even then, Kure is still making Mass Cyclone. Oh. Mutas there left idle. Losing 2. 2 Mutas are thrown away. Woodermines have potential. Ooh, forcing friendly fire. Yeah, dragging the mine shots in. Very nice round by the Lings. They come in from behind. They lock down the Cyclones. And we were giving Reynor praise previously for this very same style here, as he just keeps out positioning Kure. Sets up the surround, locks down the army. Who needs infestors when you can just surround with Lings? True. Who needs fungal back? Who needs it? Oh my god. Mine shots are so brutal. But again, there's only 4 Cyclones left. Down to 4. Down to 3. Down to 2. At least enough. Reynor forced to pull away. He's forced to pull away, but once again, there's still no third expansion. That's all that matters here. The economy is still stifled. And as long as Kure cannot expand, if he can't saturate, then Reynor, he will just dominate. So here, Reynor's just reinforcing, injecting. And Reynor, he's maxed. He's maxed out once again. The hive is complete, so here he has the option to tech up, but he's staying on a very low gas count. Or I should say, he's spending all of his gas on just keeping up his muta count. So he has no spare gas for something like Ultras or a Greater Spire, not yet. He's got gold minerals, so he's just keeping up the momentum. And again, hey, we still have not switched out of battle mech, so why switch things up? True. Bane rolls in. Once again, Bailey stays away the Hellions. Takes on him back. Nice line connection. Very nice. At the same time, Lings, they do hit the 3rd. Planetary goes down. That's going to be 6 SCV kills. So not many SCV kills. Kure's going for the counterattack. He just lost a base. And now the army is low. Reynor, he is vulnerable. How about some morphing in? Bailey's will connect. But there's a minefield. Yeah, there's a minefield, and they do pop up. Yeah, Woodermines are popping up. Mutas, they have to back the hell up. They have to retreat. But there's still just so much on the ground. Yeah, here comes a Link support. Cyclones do fall. This is the final army. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will take a 2-0 lead in the series. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Reynor, he will take a 2-0 lead here to advantage. Again, Kure, he had a bold build going into mech of all things here on Title Citadel, but this wasn't just mech. It was mass Blue Flame Hellbats, if you recall. He went up to, what, 14, 15 Hellions, went for a big Hellbat push, and he did damage. Remember, he killed 15 drones. He got 15 drones. He killed the expansion as well. It was a good amount of damage dealt with the Hellbats, but he wasn't really ready for the mutas. Once the mutas arrived, they shut down the push, they shut down all the Hellions. Cyclone production was delayed because of the massive amount of Hellions and Hellbats, and that meant that he was just stuck at home. Kure was stuck at home. Reynor had the freedom to re-drone, resaturate, take his entire half of the map, and remax, just because of how unprepared Kure was to the mutas. The mutas, they didn't end the game instantly, but they did allow Reynor to recover from all those losses, to recover, to build up, and to overwhelm. GG. GG, well played. With that, Reynor does take a 2-0 lead, and now we're jumping into game number 3. Let's go. We're jumping into game 3, and we'll see if Kure can begin the comeback. We're going to be loading into 10,000 feet. Oh boy. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the South Korean Terran, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Kure. And in the top left hand corner, we have the Red Zerg player. The Red Zerg player representing Basilisk. It is Reynor. Here we go. So we have our game 3. Now, welcome to 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet, finally we're entering some of the smaller maps, some of the more aggressive maps in the map pool. This is where I do favor Terran here. They do struggle in the more larger open maps, but as we load into 10,000 feet, as we load into, we're going for the proxy, as we load into 10,000 feet, Tourmaline and Ruby Rock, those 3 maps are where I do favor Cure to get some momentum and to start the comeback in this series. First things first, we move out with not just 1, not just 2, but 3 SCVs. So proxy 3 racks here out of Cure. It is going to be a bunker rush with Mass Marine, and we'll see how Reynor reacts. Now, Reynor, the first Overlord, is going across the map to scout the natural. The second Overlord is rallied here to the entrance to the natural. Now, he won't scout the proxy, he won't scout the Raxes, but he will spot the SCVs and he will spot the bunkers being thrown down. Now, the question becomes, how many SCVs does Q reveal? The problem with proxy 2 racks and proxy 3 racks is that they both elicit different responses from the Zerg player, and there are Terran players that do intentionally hide an SCV to make it look like a proxy 2 racks. If that's the case, then Reynor could pull the boys, doesn't pull enough boys, then he will lose too many workers in the defense. Bearing in mind that 3 racks is more committed. More committed, more Marines, more aggressive, of course. And yep, 2 SCVs are revealed. So once again, he does keep his 3rd SCV back, reveals 2, Marine does pop up, and bunkers are being thrown down. Oh, that's a very aggressive bunker, by the way. It's very far forward. The SCV will get eyes on any kind of boy pool. And Reynor, he's going for the Roach Horn in the main. He gives up on the natural. Okay. Oh, but Jesus. Okay. As Curie does leave forward, he does see that there are no boys being pulled, so he recognizes that this is going to be a admission of just, giving up on the low ground. 3rd SCV is revealed. And we'll see. Oh, never mind. We pull the boys. He commits. Yeah, he's committing in. The Marines, they're out of position. Marines are out of position. The bunker is on its own, which means we can just corner the army. Yeah, the Marines, they should be cornered here. Oh, bit of miscontrol. Yeah, bit of miscontrol out of Reynor. Drones are coming in. So far, nice kiting here by Cure. He does pick up 3 workers. The bunker does complete. Bunker does finish up, but the army is zoned away. He cannot get to the bunker. Yeah, he cannot get in. He's surrounded, and Reynor holds. Yeah, Reynor, he will hold on. He will lose a lot of drones in the process, but he saves the expansion. He shuts down the bunker. And the game will continue. Whew. Okay. And again, Cure, he was just too overly aggressive. Like, as soon as Reynor noticed that Cure was pushing further into the natural and that there was going to be a big opening here, he just went for it, zoned Cure away, and the bunker was a non-factor. Yeah, the bunker was just a non-factor in the end. So nice moves out of Reynor. Bearing in mind that Reynor's all in. Reynor, he lost a lot of drones. He's down to 12 workers, and he has roaches on the way. And I believe Cure is unaware. Cure, he did see the gas. Okay, so he knows. Did see the— oh, he pulls the boy. Let's go. He pulls the boys. And can he get on top of the roaches? He's trying to. Yeah, the drones are being pulled as well. Lings are going down. There's 3 roaches. Now 4. Yeah, 4 roaches clutch transfuse. The roaches, they stand their ground. And so far, there's still now 5. 1 roach goes down. 2 roaches go down. Can he get 3? Oh, he's running out of Marines. Yeah, he's running out of Marines. There we go. 3rd roach falls. A 4th roach falls. And Reynor holds. Reynor, he does hold on. He's got 1 roach left. The queen left as well. GG gets called a clutch hold. And Reynor, he will take a 3-0 lead in the series. Whew. GG. GG, well played. Very close, very clutch defense there. Honestly, if Reynor didn't have the boys on the low ground, if he didn't have drones to pull, then most likely he loses then and there. So crucial that he had the boys on the low ground so he can pull them, he can help protect, help buffer for his roaches. Very nice control, clutch transfuse, did preserve his roaches for as long as possible, barely held on. GG. GG, well played. Hi. And with that, Reynor, he's up 3-0. He's up 3-0. He is 1 game away from making it to the grand finals here. Cure, he's up against the wall. Things are looking dire. And I was looking forward to some mid-game aggression out of Cure coming into 10,000 feet. Instead, he went for the 1 base all-in. It's a bold move out of Cure. And now we're loading into Winter Madness. Oh boy, another larger map. Another larger map. Now, this is a larger map, that is true, but I think I would go as far as to say this is the most defensive map in the map pool. It's still not as defensive as Tokamak, true, but it's still the most defensive one. we'll get into it. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Winter Madness, we do have the South Korean Terran player. He is heavily down in the series. The pressure is on. We'll see if he can bounce back. It is Cure. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player. We have the Italian Zerg representing Basilisk, leading the series 3-0. It is Reynor. Here we go. And again, welcome one and all to Winter Madness. Winter Madness is one of the larger maps in the map pool, but unlike Taito Citadel and unlike Mothership, the bases are closer together. Here we have our natural, we have our third base, we have our fourth base as well. The bases are more defendable, they're closer together, but also on top of all that, we do have ramps coming in between these bases as well. So a much more defendable position here in between the natural and third base. The entrance to the third base is more narrow. True, it is much more narrow compared to Mothership and compared to Taito Citadel. And we also have a narrow entrance here into the fourth base as well. I say narrow, I would say they're medium-sized more than anything. They're medium-sized, but this is still better than the other maps. So if Cure were to play standard, if he were to play standard and to play more macro and play for a longer and later game, this is probably the best map for it. But is that what we want to do? Like, in the context of the greater series, Cure is down 0-3, right? Like, I feel like we have to take some chances here. We have to take some risks. This is the best map to play standard on, but is that going to be enough to start the comeback? Oh boy. Meanwhile, because aggression is a little bit more difficult to pull off here on Winter Madness, especially ground-based aggression, this is where muta play is more viable, right? So Reynor, he has the option to go into mutas again here on Winter Madness. I feel like it's more common. But we'll see. As Cure, he does delay the third base. Cure is on patrol. Reynor forced to expand elsewhere. Oh, and this does create some opportunities for Cure, actually. Okay. So Reynor, he's forced to expand on the low ground, a very exposed base, by the way. He's here on the low ground. This tells me that Cure wanted to be aggressive. Like, that is an option. That is a target. Reaper doesn't get a kill. Drone barely survived. Reaper does pull away. Confirms the expansion. SCV comes back home. And Cure for now is going for a third CC before Starport. Economic follow-up here by Cure. But this can still lead into something like an 8-Rax. In general, I'm not too fond of 8-Raxes on Winter Madness, and in general in the latest patch, of course, as well. But specifically to try to kill this base and try to just snowball out of control, like that, it's an option. It's available. For now, it's going for the starport. There's no 2-1-1. I guess mech is another option here as well, once again. I would say it would be easier to turtle up and to defend with mech on this map compared to Taito. Compared to Citadel. There's the add-on swap. Getting into Banshee play. If we see high flight rotors, that would be indicative of mech again. If we see cloak, it could be either. Reaper Hellion is going to be forced back. And it is going to be cloak, not speed. Okay. So standard build so far. 3cc cloak Banshee. We can see Cure trying to abuse this position, trying to find a way in. It is going to be a roach opener out of Reynor. Very safe play out of our Zerg. Very safe. And Cure is getting to Bio. So 2 more maxes. So a 3-1-1 setup. And what's a little bit scary here is that the roaches have yet to be scouted. Technically, Reynor could try to be aggressive with this as well, if he cuts workers early. That is also an option for Reynor. KungFu still poking in. Gets eyes on the 4th base. Has still yet to spot the roaches themselves. And Reynor is droning up. And he's taking as well. Okay, he's rushing into the infestation bit though. That's a fast pit. So very fast infestation bit. This can lead into fast infestors if he wants to commit with Roach Ravager. Otherwise, of course, this does give access to a faster hive. A very fast hive. How many corners are we cutting? Banshee's a threat and a dive. We have +1 at carapace on the way. Queens will zone. Getting ready for that hive tech. Queen is still on the way, so we have to wait for the queen to finish. It's gonna be like a 6:30 hive? Like what a Jesus. There it is. Yeah, 6:30 hive. That is insane, by the way. I think this is the fastest hive you can go for, like viably. That is crazy. So yeah, the hive starts at 6:30. Technically like 6:28. Hellions are doing the dive. So far, Reynor's keeping up. And again, to be able to pull this off, you're sacrificing +1 or your 1/1 upgrades. You're sacrificing the Baneliness. Baneliness is delayed. Reynor, he only has 5 roaches. So again, like very minimal units to defend. And we'll see if Kure can punish. He's moving out with his double drop. He's not pushing. So Kure is leaving his tanks at home. He's only moving out with his drops. This is ideal for Reynor. If Kure was more aggressive, then Reynor, he's in a lot of trouble. Like Reynor, he is cutting. He barely has a standing army. But thankfully, Kure, he's only going for drop play. Early drops. Meanwhile, the hive is almost done here at 7:30. Ay. And again, this should be for fast ultras. But like again, has Reynor dug too deep? You know, like has he gone too far? Okay, we have a hive, adrenals on the way. We have 2 vipers on the way first before the ultra tech. This is safe. This is relatively safe. I mean, as safe as you can be with this. Kure can still kill him. Kure can still just end the game. Here he comes. Kure does break out. He should kill the expansion. Remember, there's no bailing speed. Again, that's how greedy we've been. Bailing speed is only halfway done. We got slow banes to defend. And Kure, he has to punish here and now. Reynor, he's setting up for trying to catch reinforcements. Reynor, Kure, he's rotating. Or are we pushing? What's the plan? He's reinforcing. Okay, he's going to reinforce. Which means Kure intends to keep pushing. And he could just end the game here. Like Kure, he has potential. Reynor gets supply blocks. He does catch a marine, but only a marine. But he does buy enough time for bailing speed. True. Bailing speed is done. The vipers are full of energy. Adrenal is not going to be a factor. Oh, looks like there was a bit of a pause. Oh, looks like Pommy lagged out. Este Pommy. And Reynor once again setting up first round. Ideally, he wants to wait for Kure to push up the ramp. He wants to wait for Kure to push in. Reynor setting up at the same time. We have a split push here on the left hand side. Reynor, can he defend in time? He collapses in. A little bit mistimed though. A little bit mistimed. Yeah, one flank was too soon, was too early. Here come the blinding clouds. So a bit of a fumbled attack here from Reynor. He will clean this up, but at the same time, Yana comes in. Queens are holding their own. Yeah, the Queens are trying to hold on. They barely will. But we're getting messy. Yeah, we're getting very messy here. And does Kure punish him? Can he punish him? Here comes the Ultra Cavern. Ultra Cavern's on the way. +2 is finishing up. Oh, mine just going off. Oof, Jesus. Yeah, brutal connections. Curie kills another expansion, and Reynor, he's in trouble. He's in a lot of trouble here. He's trying to keep up. Aliens, they graze the army. No major connections. Curie just rallying in. And unless these Banelings connect, Curie should have enough. Oh no! Force the pickup. Does force a pickup. Curie at the same time is rallying over towards the top side as well, just ensuring that Reynor cannot get a 5th base. He's stuck on 4 bases against a 4-basing Terran, so Reynor, he's behind. And the greed has not paid off. Not yet. I mean, the ultras are coming. That will help. True. The ultras back. As we're trying to force friendly fire. So, trying. What about Suparo? Raider's being pulled apart. Marines, they go back in. They snipe another queen. Okay, still trading efficiently. And this entire game, Curie's been left alone. Right? These bases, the economy for Curie has been left untouched. And the reason for this is because of how greedy Reynor has been. He was so insanely greedy, getting a 630 hype. That's crazy, crazy. It was illegal back. At least it should be. And Curie's maxed. Ultras have arrived. They're lacking upgrades. And his play just out finishing up. +3 carapace halfway done as well. Once again, the 5th base goes down. Reynor still cannot expand. That's all that matters. Reynor, he needs to build up a bank to afford these trades. He doesn't have one. Not an ideal bank, I should say. Oh, now collapsing in. Okay. So far, nice kiting here out of Cure. Let's pull away. Aliens, they just cannot connect. And Reynor, he just can't expand. he just wants a 5th base, pappy, time and time again. Reynor's being denied. Now, Reynor's still in this in the sense that he can win one big fight. Like, he can collapse on this army. If Cure isn't paying attention, then he could lose everything. There's still a chance. But over time, Cure's army just outscaling Reynor. Now he has Liberation. No Ghost yet, but has his Liberators. Yeah, the Academy was not thrown down. Going for the Fusion Core instead. Strike is firing. It's one of the Ultras. Once again, bases are cancelled. Oh. That's Reynor. He just cannot push out. Alpha creep into a concave. It's been brutal. Okay, very excited the Ultras. Okay. Ultras, they break out of the contain. Okay, the army is overstimmed. No energy on the Metamax. Reynor takes a fight. Whew. Okay, Reynor, he wins one fight. He finally can expand. Once again, the same is the case here, where the Metamax goes down, had no energy left. Uh-oh. Cure. Bleeding out a lot of units. And behind this, something that's surprising me here, I don't know if you noticed this, we're looking at the production tab, still no Academy. Like, this is very spellcaster and ultra reliant here, and still 0 ghosts out of Cure. I would understand if Cure was stuck on 3 bases, but he has a 4th and he has a 5th base. Like, Cure, he has money. He had a bank, but still no Academy. So this means that Cure's army isn't as efficient as it otherwise could be, right? So it's a bit of a more inefficient army. Lings, they get into the mineral line. They force back Cure. Cure, he turns everything back around for a moment. So a bit of an F2. Ducklings, they bust into the natural. SCVs are going down. Wreaking havoc at the natural. 13 SCVs, 15, oh god, Jesus. Yeah, 18, 19, 21 workers. Curie turns everything back around once again. He did not take this seriously. Yeah, didn't take it seriously enough. 21 SCV kills. And Reynor suddenly has 3-3. He has 3-3 upgrades. He's maxed out Ling Bane Ultra. He finally got his 5th base up and running. So Reynor, he now has a bank to work with. And he still does not have to worry about ghosts. Now, the Widow Mine, geez, there's a lot of mines. It's very mine heavy. Another Ling run by. Reynor collapsing in. Trying to come in from both angles. Mine shots, Jesus, the mine shots are popping off. That's a lot of mine shots, but there's just not enough on the ground. The Ultras, they break through. The Ultras are trying. Oh my god, there's 2 Ultras left. At the same time, Ling run by gets 7 SCVs. But barely not enough there for Reynor. He breaks the 5th base once to get Reynor. He just wants a 5th. He just wants a 5th expansion, man. Ay, ay, ay. He just wants a 5th base. I just want Cure to get an academy. Like, again, Cure, he is struggling himself. He lost so many workers earlier. He didn't replace them. He's down to 48 SCVs. Essentially a 2-base economy. Like, he's on a 2-base economy plus mules, which does help. You have 8 more Ultras on the way. What is a ghost? Who knows? Ay, ay, ay. Meanwhile, a big shout out to Luis CGG in the chat. God, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you had a great time. And bienvenidos, bienvenidos. As we have mid-series here in a best of 7. Oh, my apologies. There we go. It was mislabeled as best of 5. Best of 7 between Cure and Reynor. Ling Bane does rally in. And once again, collapse of the army. Nice flying clouds. Power bombs here on the Metamax. And Reynor, he has momentum. He's going to shut him down. Reynor, he was so greedy this game. And he was being punished. Like here, he had a solid mid-game. He was punishing Reynor time and time again, knocking out the 5th base over and over and over again. But Cure, he refused to tech up. And I'm getting deja vu. Like, we've seen this before at a Cure, even in the last patch. Like, this has happened before. Where Cure just refuses to get an academy. Oh, there it is! He's getting it! The academy! It's on the way at 18 minutes! We could have had this, like, maybe not 10 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago. We could have seen this 8 minutes ago at least. Finally getting a Ghost Academy, but it feels too late. At this point, Reynor stabilized. He found the Ghost Academy key. He found it. He rebound it. Ay. Now, for those that are curious as to why we didn't see the academy for this long, I believe that it was because Cure, he didn't want the game to last this long. I mean, we're now almost 19 minutes in. But Cure, he wanted to end the game earlier, and he was being hyper aggressive. He was being in the face of Reynor. Going for an academy and switching into Ghost production does slow down the turn momentum. It does slow down your aggression. So Cure, he just wanted to just keep hammering away at Reynor, almost forcing himself all in. I say all in, just staying on a lower tech army and committing with the lower tech army. But in the end, he failed to kill, right? He failed to kill Reynor, so he gets punished for it in the end. So in the end, it wasn't worth it. It just wasn't worth it for Cure to not take up into Ghost. As he failed to kill Reynor, he failed to stop him early, despite having momentum. Oh Jesus. And now we're entering a really weird game state where Reynor, he's able to re-expand, build up his bank. He's maxed out, he's going for the Ghost. Yeah, comes in for the surround. Nice save. Very nice save. Losing one Ghost so far. Just the one. At the same time, main army pushes in. Planetary should fall. Should and will. Oh. As we just collapse on the main army as well. Again, the Ghosts are not a part of this. Just Marines and Marauders. Medevacs getting picked up. Going for another planetary. And Reynor, can he get it? Couple more swipes. Poquito más, he gets it. Now we get the snipes coming in, but alas, after the base goes down, that's 17 SCV kills. And Cure, he has no bank. He has no bank, he has no economy, he lost too many SCVs throughout the course of this game. Lost 54 SCV kills. Doodling run by as the counterattacks. Now what I will say is that Cure's main army is still terrifying. Like, he can still win a fight. He can still win a fight. He can still win an engage. But the pressure is on. So we have a forward infester. Ready for the fungal. Getting ready for a flank. Getting ready for that fungal. There it is. Oh, lands one. Oh, does land two. Yeah, lands a fungal, locks down the army. The ultras, they are trickling in. So a bit of a mismanaged attack there from Reynor. Yeah, well, it's mismanaged. Didn't have everything. Reynor, he was premature, but too soon, too soon. Jesus. Snipes do bully him back. But overall, this is still a better trade for Reynor. I should say Reynor can afford the trade, Cure cannot. As his army is heavily overstimmed and no medevacs. No medevac support, he cannot lift, he cannot drop away. And Reynor can just pounce. There's now one medevac. He can and he will. He just pounces on the army, medevac goes down. Liberators are sniped and Curie just cannot get away. He can't get away from Reynor, but he's gonna be chased down. Bases are denied. And again, there was a certain point in this game where I was like, oh, we're gonna get a game 4. Like, sorry, we're gonna get a game 5. Like, the series is gonna continue. Cure had such a strong start to this game. A big reason for it was that Reynor was an animal. Remember, Reynor, he started his hive at 6:30. He had a crazy fast hive. Like, Reynor, he was cutting every corner he could. He was being punished for it, but eventually stabilized. And Jesus, the Mulehammer. So we have the Mjolnir here at the 6th. The 5th even. Yeah, the Mass Mulehammer at Cure just trying to hang in there. Where's the ice down? Not getting it was a tactical error. I thought you were gonna say technical error, but sure, I guess. Kinda works. Este ahí está. SMH. Secure Science expansion. Oh my god! The mine shots have been crazy this game. This series even. Seen a lot of good mine connections. Cure does take down another expansion. Now, this entire time I was harping on the fact that Cure, his economy is lackluster, and it is, right? He's mining out of his 4th base, he's mining out of his 3rd base, he's mining out of his 5th base as well. Like, he has 2 patches at his 5th, he's got 2 patches at the 4th, he's got 1 patch at the 3rd. Like, Cure, he barely has an economy. At the same time, Reynor also is starting to have trouble as well. He just now got a fresh mining base, he's double expanding, he needs these southern bases. As you can see, Reynor has had a hard time maxing out himself. Hard time maxing out. Reynor just took advantage of the fact that Cure was going to play scared in the early game. For the most part, yes. If you recall, we did mention how Cure was reliant on Cure being more passive and defensive, which was already showcased previously in the series. I believe in game 2? No, game 1. Like, game 1 did show that on Mothership. But despite that, I would say that Cure did a good job of punishing Reynor. Remember, Cure, he just kept sniping, kept killing the 5th base over and over and over again. Cure had momentum, Reynor was struggling. Like, Cure was ahead in this game. Like, he was successfully punishing Reynor. And then the Ling run by. Remember, there was a massive Ling run by which killed, like, was it 21 SCVs, and it forced Cure to turn around, then back around, then back around. Like, Cure was very indecisive when it came to how to defend against it. It gave Reynor a lot of breathing room. Cure never rebuilt his SCVs after that. And if you remember, it was that Ling run by that allowed Reynor to actually get his 5th. Like, that was the moment where he got his 5th base up. And then he was able to build up his ultras, right? build up his ultras, and then we also spoke about the 8 minutes where Kira refused to get a Ghost Academy. Like there's a lot that came into play there, where Reynor, his opener was illegal, but at the same time Kira, he was punishing up until a moment. It did feel like Kira was maybe tunnel visioning a little bit too much. He was a little bit too locked in, back. Too locked in. As Reynor, he will land a fungal. Yeah, power bomb as well. Ultras are breaking on through. The ghosts, they're getting shut down. They just now try to kite away. Get out of here, Pat. Yeah, nice choke point. The snipes, they shut down the ultras at least. He does kite well, but the base still goes down. The base still falls. Kira still losing an expansion. Fungals are coming in. Oh, not quite. Casi though. This is the last bastion here for Kira. Yeah, the flanking fungal as well. It doesn't quite need it. It doesn't need it. GG gets called, and Reynor, he will take the series 4-0, knocking down Kira and advancing on to the grand finals. GG. GG, well played. Reynor, he will claim the series. We saw a lot of diverse play here out of Reynor, is what I will say. We did see Kira going for an all-in on 10,000 feet, going for a proxy 3 racks, which Reynor, he did shut down. We saw Reynor getting into Ling Bane Muta play previously as well. He was able to get away with that on Title Citadel, where Kira did play into Mech. We saw a bit of a more passive game in Game 1 on Mothership, and here in Game 4, we saw Reynor cut as many corners as he could. Fun fact, Reynor had 5 roaches. He had 5 roaches, he was droning, he didn't have a Baneliness, Baneling speed, his upgrades, nothing. He went for a very fast infestation bit into a 630 hive. Crazy greed out of Reynor, and we saw that Kira was relatively passive. He was not able to punish him, not able to kill him, but he was able to shut down the 5th base time and time again. So I would say, I should restate that, he wasn't able to kill Reynor in doing so, but he was able to punish him, was able to contain Reynor, was able to gain momentum, build up his bank. Up until the moment we spoke about, Reynor was able to get across the map with a massive Ling run by, massive Ling counterattack. He was able to cripple the economy of Kira, an economy that he never quite recovered because he did stop SCV production. So Kira actually stayed, after losing all those SCVs, he stayed on a very low work count for a very long time after that. And likewise, it also allowed Reynor to finally get a 5th base, finally stabilize with his own hive tech, with his ultras, and with his Vipers. GG. Another big factor as well, which we have seen from Kira in the past, is he was very adverse to going into Ghosts. For a very long time, what was it? I think he got his Ghost Academy at almost 20 minutes. Almost 20 minutes in, he got his Academy. I'm sorry, it was like 18. It was like 18:30-ish. Is when he got his Academy. So very, very late. Because of that, he didn't really have the most efficient trades, the most efficient fights. It was still very intense, still very back and forth, and still very hectic between both Kira and Reynor. But Reynor, he was able to stabilize. GG, well played. Reynor takes a series, a very, very intense best of 7 here. I don't think the series really tells a tale of all these games. As we mentioned, we had some cheese, we had some proxy, we had some mech, we had some greed, we had some late game. But in the end, Reynor comes out on top. GG. GG, well played. And with that, we have our bracket being updated. Un momento. We have our bracket. Okay. As we can switch our scenes over and catch up on the bracket itself, we have our top 3 players of the tournaments. As we mentioned previously, Hero, as we covered previously, Hero did take down Classic 3-0 to advance on to the lower bracket finals. Kira gets knocked down to the lower bracket as well to face off against Hero. So we have our top 3 players. We have Reynor waiting the grand finals, and we have Kira and Hero in the lower bracket finals. Oh boy. And it's going to be pure best of 7s. Purely best of 7s here between Kira and Hero, and of course the winner of that against Reynor also in a best of 7 as well. That is going to be covered here tomorrow, bearing in mind this was day 4 of KungFu Cup, and day 5 will be taking place tomorrow instead. Oh boy. So there you go, there you have it. We do have our schedule here for the rest of the week. Again, it's been a very intense event here. 5 days of StarCraft, 5 days of KungFu Cup action. Again, this is the November finals, and there should be another one of these events coming into December. I say should be, I don't think we have confirmation, but for the past couple of months, you know, SC Boys have been running these invitationals, these big double elimination brackets. If they do host one for December, we'll be there to cast it as well. We will be there. And depending on the schedule, we might be able to cover it live this time. It does depend. They do like to host their schedule a little bit later, and it often does clash with other casts as well. So it depends on how our schedule lines up. Might be able to cast it live, otherwise we'll be there via replays at least. We will be there. Otherwise, when it comes to the rest of our schedule, oh, that's not correct. Hold on, we gotta. I may have messed some stuff around here. Oh no. Okay, there we go. it's a little bit jank, but it's fine. It's fine. But here we go. We're getting into the rest of our schedule here. You can see here we just wrapped up with our Monday evening broadcast of KungFu Cup action, and we are going to be live tomorrow, Tuesday morning with some more KungFu Cup, with the final day of KungFu Cup. That should be in around 13 hours. In around 13 hours time, we'll be live with our next cast. We then have a Picasso Cup. Picasso Cup is going to be on Wednesday. We have War TV Monday on Thursday. We have the Pwn cast Thursday evening. We have StarCraft Evolution League on Friday. I know a lot of people have been asking about StarCraft Evolution. Again, it's just been on hiatus, right? They've had some downtime. It's been on hiatus, but now we are back with some SC Evo. We have KSL on Saturday, SDO Saturday, and Sparkling Tuna Cup on Sunday. So plenty of content, plenty of StarCraft. A little bit of a leaner week here, as we only have, as for the most part, we have one cast a day. We've got 2 days this week where we have 2 casts a day, but for the most part, one cast a day. Just again, a little bit of a leaner schedule here, which I'm more than happy about. I mean, means we get to sleep a little bit, Pappy, a little bit of rest, a little bit of sleep. But otherwise, thanks for watching, thanks for tuning in. We do appreciate it, of course, Hope you'll enjoy the broadcast, and we'll be back tomorrow in 13 hours time with the finale of KungFu Cup November. Just catching up with the chat. Esther the Mega, yesterday Sparkling Tuna Cup November was 10,000 out of 10. Love the games. Thanks for bringing them to my life. Goat's light. Oh, thank you, the Mega, thank you. Much love, if you're still there. Gracias, papi, gracias. Do appreciate it. Sleep is overrated. I wish that was the case. No. Wish that was true. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. And again, I hope you're able to take away from these matches as well. Again, like, I'll be honest, we cast, a lot of StarCraft. We cast more StarCraft than anyone else out there. I don't think I've ever seen Reynor be as greedy as he was on Winter Madness. Or we've seen greed, but different forms of greed, right? We've seen like gasless openers, fast fourth bases, right? Like there are more greedier openers that we've experienced before. And we spoke about this previously, but there is a style that Reynor was popularizing pre-patch in the last patch, where Reynor was cutting banelings and cutting roaches and going straight Ling Infestor Ultra. That was also a build that he was going for. That was just before the patch went live, and Sarah was adopting it as well. But yeah, this is something that seems a little bit crazy to rush into ultras as quickly as he did. Still in a bit of a safer manner, because he did have a roach warren and he did have 5 roaches, I suppose, but it's still kind of crazy, and definitely it's going to be in the back of my mind, and I might refer back to KungFu Cup in the future if we see that again, right? For me at least, this is the first time I'm seeing Reynor do this build, and it's something that I do like to mix in, right? To mix into a best of 7, a best of 5, right? To mix into a longer series, to have in the back of your pocket, just hyper greed that you'd most likely want to do on a larger map. But again, I would imagine that part of why Reynor went for it was because of how Cure played on Mothership, right? Cure, he's a bit of a more passive player compared to Clem, right? Clem is so aggressive. Clem is in your face. Like, Clem, notoriously, he would punish Serral and Reynor whenever they were too greedy in ZvT, and that's why Serral for so long would just play Roach every game, just because of Clem. So depending on your opponents, you can maybe get away with it, but again, like, I feel like that's not really going to be as viable against someone like Clem, for example, or against Maru, who Maru has been more aggressive as of late. I know that Maru has been known for being like the macro god, and he's more than happy to slow the game down to a crawl, but in recent weeks, like, Maru's been more aggressive as well, at least in RSL if you're watching those games, which has been exciting, for sure. It has been exciting. What's StarCraft Evolution? StarCraft Evolution SE Evo is a mod. It's a mod that does pit Brood War versus SE2. So I do recommend it. We have a lot of VODs on YouTube. We've been covering it for over a year now, like 2 years, like almost 2 years. What am I creating? Every year, at least every year. So we've been covering it for quite some time, and yeah, it's a really fun mod. It's really unique. Again, it does allow for, and a lot of pro players have been getting more and more involved in it. I think most recently Solar started playing and competing a lot more in StarCraft Evolution. Got a decent amount of Koreans, only some Europeans, but mainly like players like Bjorn, Hero, Classic, Solar, Shin, for example, Cure as well. Cure's been stepping into the ring, Creator, like those are the kind of players that compete in SE Evo. Not all the Koreans compete, like Maru and Zaun, they don't really compete in SE Evo. Ryung doesn't compete in SE Evo, so it depends on, you know, whether the pro player enjoys that kind of format. And a decent chunk of Koreans have like delved into it. Not all of them, but a decent chunk of them. But again, it's Brood War versus SE2. There's a lot of VODs on YouTube. I will say that right now the meta is a little bit in flux because of the patch, right? Like we just had a StarCraft 2 patch, like what, a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. So right now the Brood War developers, they're working on a patch to like balance that of course. It is a very actively balanced mod, I should say that as well. It's very actively balanced, and they mainly only ever touch the Brood War side of things. They try to like leave SE2 as it is, and they try to balance around this state of SE2 instead with their Brood War units. But again, like it was a big patch that we just had, right? And it's something that the SE Evo team have to contend with. It's and it's definitely not easy, right? It's not easy to approach that with the latest changes, of course, with the change to Storm, with the change to Banelings, the change to Ghosts as well. So best of luck to the team. Personally, my favorite part about casting SE Evo are the maps, more than anything, really. I mean, it's fun to see Brood War versus SE2, but they also have their own custom map pool, and they've ported a bunch of Brood War maps. A bunch of Brood War maps have been ported over, and they compete on those maps, and they are very unique. And some of them, I will say, are crazy and not very balanced. Like I'm thinking of Return of the King. Return of the King was, I'm still thinking about it. Like Return of the King gives me nightmares. Like that's a crazy map. It's a map, it's a 4-player spawn map where you have the low ground natural, low ground third base, and low ground area between your natural and third. So you can just set up on the high ground and punish like workers transferring and your army rotating. Like it was a crazy map. Like I think it was around for a season. It was crazy. But they have island maps, which is a lot of fun as well, like near, I almost said Neo Still Frames, near Isles of Siren. So they have some island maps as well. They have pseudo island maps. They feature like rocks that you can break, and they can create permanent rocks as well. Like they have a lot more freedom with I should say Brood War has a lot more freedom with how they make their maps, and that's why they're so much more impactful. So to see those more crazy map designs ported into SE2, like for me at least, is really enjoyable. Like they have like neutral disruption webs, which is kind of like, think of a map where in the center you have like a bunch of patches of permanent blinding clouds, and then they affect any unit. Like for example, right? Like that's crazy. Like we would never have StarCraft 2 is so tame with like how they want to introduce things. Like how many years did it take for us to get speed zones? Like speed zones were introduced in Legacy. Like we did not have them in Heart of the Swarm or in Wings of Liberty. Like it takes so long for SE2 to be like, you know what? Okay, we'll have like slow zones or neutral missile turrets, or what's the latest change? I guess we only just now got like 3-player swarm maps again, right? Or we just had the worker mineral paths. True. Like that's like a relatively new thing, but it takes so long to like push for something different to be added to the maps. Whereas in Brood War, they did not care. Like they just unlocked everything, which led to some unbalanced maps. To be fair, like I would say that because Brood War maps are there's so much less regulation around Brood War maps, it does mean that straight up sometimes in a season they're just unbalanced maps. As in heavily favored towards Zerg or heavily favored towards Terran. Like there's a little more like variance there, which you could argue is maybe a good thing, which is fun, maybe a bad thing. It's a little bit different. I think Brood War can get away with it because they rotate their maps more frequently, right? Like they don't have like this red tape that you have to go through to like push through a new like tournament map pool. Because they have more freedom, because they have more flexibility, they can get away with having like some incredibly like unbalanced maps like a season, then they just switch it out, right? They just switch them out and they just get rid of them. So so they have the flexibility to do that sort of thing. It's a little bit different in StarCraft 2, where once you, especially for like the past like 5 years, not right now it's a little bit better, but like for the past 5 years, whenever you get a map pool, you're stuck with it for like a year, right? So like if you push through an imbalanced map, like you're stuck with it for a long time, and that hurts the game that much more, right? So like it's a different environment, for sure. Different environment. Yo, how is it that we start talking about Brood War and SC Evo and then Cat comes into chat? Este Caprile Cat. Fun fact for those that are curious, there's a reason why Cat has the VIP badge. Is also helping to, and is one of the people behind the scenes that does help work on SC Evo on StarCraft Evolution. There you go. we summoned Cat. True. Este Cat. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. Thank you. So just catching up. True healing shrines. Yeah, that was the latest thing, right? Like healing shrine, that I think that's like one of the latest features that was added to maps in recent times. Every player hates it just for viewers' good. I mean, it's one of those things where ideally you have a nice balance of things. I think we spoke about this like a couple of months ago during the podcast, when we were talking about I think we were having this discussion as well, where like ideally there's a nice balance of things where you have pro players on one side pushing and pulling for like more standardized and more monotonous maps, and then you have the other side of things where you have, I guess in this kind of situation, like content creators or casters or the viewer base or the fan base, like pushing for more variety and more like explosive and more like innovative like maps instead. And then ideally you have like a nice balance in the middle. I would say for the past, like for the EPT era of StarCraft, it was too much in favor of the more monotonous like pro player like standardized maps. I think part of that was probably because of the balance council, right? Because that was constructed by pro players as well, and they did have a little more say in certain things like balance and like map orders and map changes as well. So I do think it was just for recent history in recent years, it was just too much in one way. Maybe not even just recent history, maybe just in general, it was just too much in one side and less on the other. Where ideally you have like a nice, a nice balance in between, where you have that push and pull. But I would probably say that for the majority of StarCraft 2's lifespan, it has been too far in favor of like keeping the pros happy. Whereas I think we could have had a little bit more pull on the other side. Of course, hindsight is 2020 on that sort of thing, for sure. But feels like that's been the case for most of its lifespan. But with that, regardless, outside of that side tangent, yes, SEVO is a lot of fun, and we'll be casting some SEVO on Friday. But otherwise, thanks for watching. Thanks so much for the support. We do appreciate it, of course, and we'll see you guys in around 13 hours or 12 and a half hours at this point with some more KungFu Cup, with the final day of KungFu Cup. So we'll see you then. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for tuning in. We do appreciate it. A bit of a shorter broadcast today. Because it's a bit of a shorter broadcast, I think I'm gonna go live and have a cheeky ladder session. I'll try to, at least. Do have to set up and do have to get some things ready, look after the bunnies, of course. But if you want to stick around, if you want to see a short cheeky ladder session, then I'll be going live on my personal channel, so you can follow me at light_VIP. Yo, Este Jimmy, and then oh my god, Este Jimmy, Bappy, when are you playing in Tuna Cup? when are you gonna set your alarm, go to sleep at a reasonable time, and play some StarCraft? Este Jimmy. Ay. Good to see you, Pat. Good to see you. But you can follow me on my personal channel if you wish. Otherwise, you can follow us on the KranKy Ducklings. All things KranKy Ducklings here, exclamation mark, socials in the chat. We have our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. All things KranKy Ducklings. We are live every single day, as you can see, with our weekly schedule. You can also support us with Patreon if you wish. Our Patreon does fund our Tuna Cups, our weekly open cups, and our monthly tournaments as well. It is all funded via Patreon, so if you want to grow our tournaments, if you want to help us grow the tournaments, you can do so via Patreon. Otherwise, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. We'll see you guys tomorrow or the day after. We'll see you next time. Until then, ciao. Bye, ciao. Hasta luego.